Buckle up, college football fans. It is going to be a crazy week this weekend. We got 6 ranked matchups, some with playoff implications as the first week of conference play kicks off here on week 4? Yeah, it's week 4.
Week 4, yeah.
Week 4, baby. And yeah, there's some great matchups. We're obviously here to talk about it here at the Play Action Podcast. It is Brennan and Brock. And what is kind of your thoughts on, this weekend? What stands out to you?
This is a massive weekend. There's really no way to put it any differently. When you got games of 6 ranked games, that's the most actually since 2007, I believe.
Really?
So it's been
Didn't
that
even know
long.
that.
So this is like not only a great weekend of college football, but this is almost like a historic weekend.
Yeah.
Of college football.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be huge. There's a lot of games. Conferences are starting up. A lot of conferences getting into the fold and playing their first games of the year.
We're officially, is it a quarter of the way through the season?
1/4 of the way.
God, I feel like it went by fast. I feel like it went by real quick. I kind of wanted to slow down. Like last week we mentioned, it was like, week 3 is going to be kind of chill. There's no ranked matchups, take a breath. And then, it was just a phenomenal, fun weekend of college football. So, it's like, I wanted to take a breath and, prepare for week 4, but it's been entertaining. It's been awesome. Can't ask for much more, honestly.
Yeah. And these are the type of weekends that you're going to look back to later on in the season.
Yeah.
And because a lot of teams, their seasons are going to be defined on this week.
Yeah.
You want to start 1-0 in conference, but you want to get the big wins over the ranked opponents.
Absolutely.
And that's stuff that it's gonna live with you the rest of the season. They're gonna look back to that week 4 game, when you beat that ranked opponent that's ranked in the college football playoff rankings. That's gonna hold true for the rest of the season. So these are gonna be really important games for a lot of these teams, and you could even say that they're season definers.
Oh yeah, sure. Absolutely. And starting off with the first one we're going to talk about is definitely a season definer. We talk about number 19 Colorado going at Eugene to play the Ducks. This is obviously a top 20 matchup. Colorado ranked 19th in the country. Oregon a top 10 team at number 10. But Colorado looking for their second ranked win of the year, although it was a TCU team that was probably ranked based off their performance last year. But yeah, big tester here. Oregon is 21-point favorites, which a 3 touchdown favorite. Might have to do a little bit with the absence of Travis Hunter as he's out for a couple weeks. I believe it was lacerated liver, right?
Yeah,
lacerated liver.
It's a crazy injury.
It's a scary one because we talk about laceration being a cut. That would be a cut internally, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I wonder if that's why they sent him to the hospital, because it was just like, I don't know, there was some internal bleeding going on. But, hoping for a speedy recovery from him. He's been phenomenal all year. Excited to see him back on the field, but this weekend they don't got him, Colorado.
Yeah, and a big shout out too to Deion Sanders and Travis Hunter. Both of them have come out with their comments about the hit.
Yeah.
Both of them they don't have anything bad to say about the kid. They're like, it's a football play. Maybe, his intentions, but we don't know what his intentions were.
Yeah.
And they both came out with some great comments. So big respect to both of them.
Absolutely.
Travis and Deion.
Yeah. Travis was on his podcast. Yeah. Travis was on his podcast and he's in his little onesie. He's just a funny, happy guy.
It's so goofy.
I know,
it's so
it is
funny.
so goofy. I love it. He's just not afraid to, show his personality. But he was just like, hey, it's football. There's going to be hits like that. The game's physical, and it's just like move on, recover, and get excited for whenever he comes back. So big respect, big props to them.
But yeah, they definitely didn't have to do that. They could have just moved on with their business, but they both felt it was important to speak on it. And
yeah.
Like I said, big respect to both of them for doing that, but
especially with the backlash.
Oh yeah.
That the kid received. You think about it, he's probably a 19, 20-year-old kid. He's getting death threats. Mm-hmm. His family is getting death threats. It's just, it's not that deep, I love college football. I'm passionate about it, but it's just not worth it to go down that route and, react that way.
Yeah. And obviously, it's got big meaning for this game this week.
Oh, absolutely.
No Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Is a loss, not only on the offensive side, but on the defensive side.
Definitely more on the defensive side, I would say. Because it's like, how is Colorado going to slow down this Bo Nix offense?
Yeah.
They've been explosive all year. I know that, it's been 3 opponents who were nothing crazy. I mean, they struggled a little bit with Texas Tech, was able to, pull away at the end there. But it's like, is Colorado going to be able to have the firepower to be able to slow down this offense, especially in Autzen?
Yeah, it's going to be the Bo Nix show. I think when Bo Nix first transferred to Oregon, a lot of people were kind of like, what is Oregon doing?
Yeah.
They're like, there's no way that Oregon is only attracting Bo Nix, but
including us.
Oh yeah, I'll be honest, I was huge. I was laughing at.
Yeah, you were very critical of.
I was very critical
of that transfer
of that move for them, and looking back on it now, I'm like, that's why they get paid the big bucks.
Yeah, exactly. That's why,
because they know ball. But the Bo Nix that we've seen at Oregon is the Bo Nix that we thought we were going to get at Auburn.
Yeah.
So it's good to see Bo Nix kind of turn the tides and turn into a real Heisman threat, I think.
Yeah.
And this is a great way to start his Heisman campaign.
Absolutely.
A big win over, probably the most popular team in the country right
Absolutely. Now. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And to start the Heisman campaign with, it's going to be pretty much most of the eyes in the country is going to be watching this game. I think just because, the engagement that primetime has brought to the team. And also everyone wants to see Oregon, they've kind of been excluded from the playoff talk for a couple years now.
Yeah. So
this is kind of their chance to, turn things around, starting off 3-0 and, get some momentum going into conference play because they could be legitimate contenders there at number 10.
Yeah. And I guess for the Colorado side of things, this has to be the Shedeur Sanders show.
Yeah.
Like it has to be. He's got to make the plays. It's going to be a hostile environment. Autzen is probably one of the tough places to play in the country.
Yeah.
I think you can easily say that. Teams don't go up to Autzen and win.
Yeah. Very rarely.
I know Washington did it last year, but we're talking about an elite Washington football team that went up there and did it. So, Shedeur Sanders, he's going to have to really make the plays. Scoring 28 points, it's not going to do it. What they did last week against Colorado State, at least in the first 4 quarters. Overtime, I think they got 43.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's going to have to play probably his best football game of his life to really have a chance
to even just have a chance
have a chance to beat Oregon.
I think
exactly because I'm going to be honest, Oregon's offense is a lot better than TCU.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot better than Nebraska, and it's a lot better than Colorado State.
Absolutely.
So, I think people look at this line at 21 and they're like, "Oh, that's easy money for Colorado." I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Oregon covers that line, but don't be surprised if they do.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if it's a big win and Oregon wins this by 28 or 35. That will not be surprising one bit to me.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes that the line's at 21 because this was open before the Colorado State game, I believe.
Yep.
The line was at like 20.5, and I was like, "What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is Oregon really that raw?"
Yeah.
And come to find out, Travis Hunter's, or no, it was 14 or something.
14.
It was 14
then it moved to 20.
That's right. Yeah, and then Travis Hunter gets hurt, which is crazy to think that Travis Hunter is that good to the point where he has like a 6.5 point impact. On the line. So yeah, I just think it's going to be. I don't know if this is the beginning of the downfall for Colorado, and it has really nothing to do with them. It's more of the competition in these next few weeks because of the strength of the Pac-12. But yeah, I just going into the prediction, or you got some more facts there? Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
We just need to mention that Colorado is 1-8 versus Oregon in the Pac-12 era. So this is a team that has already not had success against Oregon. Luckily for Colorado, their one win has come at Autzen. So, their one win is on the road against Oregon, but Oregon got them last year. They blew them out 49-10. Obviously a different Colorado team, so it really doesn't mean too much what happened last year, but this is really going to be the test for Deion Sanders. I think if you had Colorado at 3-0 going into this Oregon game, I need to know the lottery numbers for this week.
Yeah.
Because you have some crystal ball type, I don't even know. But this is really where Deion's gonna prove if he is, one of the elite coaches this early into his career in college football. Is you got to go on the road and you got to win, big games in hostile environments.
Absolutely.
So I'm gonna jump into my prediction for this one, and I've said Oregon's not going to cover that line. Don't be surprised if they do, though. I personally don't think they won't, but if Oregon beats them by, like I said, 28-35, don't be surprised. That won't be surprising in the slightest. I got Oregon winning by probably 17 if I had to put a number on it. I think they win by a couple scores. I put that on Twitter too.
Yeah.
So it's live. My take is out there live.
His take is out there live, so there's no going back on that. So he's got Colorado by about 17. I think I got
Eugene. Yeah, I got Eugene by 17.
My bad. But yeah, Colorado, they've been in this position before. They've been big underdogs. They were against TCU. But I just think that this is, I think them being underdogs week 1 was kind of just a guess. It was like no one knew what this Colorado team was going to be. Mm-hmm. I think that they were better than TCU, and they proved that to be true. But I think that we know more about Oregon week 3 or week 4 than we did TCU week 1. So I think that this underdog is more accurate.
Yeah, and it's hard. No Travis Hunter, you're on the road. Maybe, insert Travis Hunter, put this game in Colorado and you get a different story. But
yeah, absolutely.
I think the task is too hard. Yeah. If Deion Sanders pulls this out, I genuinely might, start calling him the best coach in college football.
We have to, we'll buy the prime glasses.
Oh, yeah, we'll buy the prime glasses.
We'll buy the prime glasses if he gets it done. Yeah. But I've got Oregon winning by 2 touchdowns. I think they're going to win by 14.
So both of us got Oregon.
I think it's exciting, explosive offensive game from both sides.
Oh yeah.
So should be a fun one to watch. I believe that's 1:30 prime time, Mountain Time, ABC. So should be a good one to watch. And I mean, there's a lot of other great games. We're only going to cover 4 of the ranked matchups today, or fully preview them. We'll give you our picks for all of them. But the next being an SEC matchup, top 15 matchup, number 15 Ole Miss going at Tuscaloosa to play Alabama, who is 2-1. Obviously lost to Texas 2 weeks ago. Bama's still 6.5 point favorites, almost a touchdown favorite. Obviously, Bryant Denning Stadium is gonna be packed. It's gonna be high energy. But yeah, what do we think of this game? Actually, I want to say my cousin goes to Alabama, and I text him. I was Roll like, Tide. Hey man, yeah, Roll Tide. And I text him. I asked him. I was like, hey man, like he's a freshman this year. I was like, dude, you're probably having a blast, man. Like, how are the football games, stuff like that? And I was like, how's the Texas game? And he was like, man, like it was fun, but when we lost, it was like there was supposed to be after parties, stuff like that. And he's like, everyone just went home and went to bed because they were just depressed. Yeah. I was like, man, that sucks. So I was like, hoping for a Bama win this weekend, so little Cuzzo can go party it up, after.
No, yeah, and I think this is going to be a very defining win for Nick Saban, or defining game. Oh yeah, should I say? Because you don't doubt Nick Saban. You just don't do it. This is the first year I'm starting to doubt Nick Saban a little bit. The team doesn't look great. Obviously made the decision to bench Jalen Milroe after the Texas game. That decision, backfired. Jalen Milroe is going to start this week. But we're talking about a series that Alabama has really dominated. 54-10.
54-10.
54 wins to 10 Ole Miss wins. So this is a team that Alabama has owned, which there's been a lot of teams like that. Let's be honest. But even before the Nick Saban era, like this is a team that Alabama has owned. And this is a huge game for Alabama because, we talked about it earlier in some of our recaps. This is a team that needs a win if they have playoff aspirations. Yeah. They got to win out. They got to win the conference. They cannot slip up anywhere else or they're done. Yeah. So
got to play perfect. Backs against the wall.
Got to play perfect ball. And I'm interested to see really what Alabama looks like this weekend.
Yeah. And this is a team who's been receiving a lot of criticism. Mm-hmm. And, the case that they're like, hey, is the dynasty over? Yep. Are they kind of passing the torch over to Georgia? And, is Georgia going to be that team that kind of, is known for winning every year? And so I think that, Bama, they need a bounce back win because it's like they need to make the playoff this year. they need to be in the SEC championship competing for the SEC trophy. And, they need to be competing for the national championship to, gain that respect again, because it's crazy how these days, people would just, it's like Bama hasn't, been in the nat, hasn't won the natty in a while, and they're already, turning their back on them and saying that the dynasty's over.
Yeah.
So it's like they kind of need this win to be able to gain back that respect, I think.
Yeah. And for Ole Miss, what a great way to really catapult your way into some serious SEC conversations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you go into Bryant-Denny, last time they will have a win in this series was actually in Tuscaloosa.
It was
2015 in Tuscaloosa. They went in there and got the win over Alabama. So if Jackson Dart and those boys and Lane Kiffin can go into Alabama, and remember our stat from a couple weeks ago, 3 previous assistant coaches have beaten Coach Saban.
This could be 4.
Lane Kiffin's trying to be number 4.
Could be 4. Yeah, we saw the other week with Sark.
Sark got it done.
Sark got it done. Will Lane Kiffin get it done this weekend? And I think it's all really going to come down to, obviously Ole Miss has the upper hand in the quarterback position.
Yeah.
This is very rare for us to see Alabama, not have someone who's, a Heisman finalist even at the quarterback position. So we're starting to see, them struggle without that key position filled.
Yeah. And Ole Miss runs the ball really, really well too, which is, I think it's something that can cause Alabama problems. If Ole Miss goes in and controls the clock and
Quinshawn
Judkins. And, they let Jackson Dart and make the plays he needs to make. I think there's a very real scenario where Ole Miss does go in and get the job.
Yeah, I'm wondering, because the line switch, it was 7, now it's down to 6.5. I wonder what's causing, that slight change, but, things are starting to kind of lean towards Ole Miss a little bit.
I think bettors are liking the upset.
Yeah,
I guess so. There's some group of bettors out there that think Ole Miss can get it done.
Mm-hmm. So who do you think is going to get it done?
This is a game that I've gone back and forth with all week. I think Ole Miss is a team that if they are to pull the upset, I think this is the perfect time to do it.
Absolutely.
There's so much uncertainty around Alabama program. They don't even know who they want at QB.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe starts against Texas, gets benched. The next week they squeak by USF, which is, I think that's not being talked about enough.
Yeah.
That is a very embarrassing win for a team like Alabama. But I do think Alabama's going to win. I think they're going to feel the pressure a little bit, I think those fans there's going to be a tense feeling in Bryant-Denny. Fans are coming in knowing what they got to do. They got to get the win. Got to start SEC playoff right. And I think Jalen Milroe, I think he's fired up.
Yeah.
I don't think he felt he deserved to be benched going into that USF game. So I think you're going to see one of his best performances. It's going to be one of those magic day games at Bryant-Denny.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, back and forth. Whoever has the ball last gets it done. I think Alabama wins slightly though.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's going to be 1:30, same time as the Utah game and the Colorado game. So you're going to have the 3 screens up, watching all the games, streaming one on your phone, figure it out. But I agree. I think Bama's going to get it done. This team's hungry. They're eager to get that bounce back win, and I see them getting it done against Ole Miss. But I do agree. I think they squeak by. I think it'll be a close one.
Yeah.
Maybe a 1-score game. All right. Back to the Pac-12 for week 1 of conference play. It's going to be number 22 UCLA going at number 11 Utah, both undefeated. The line changed this morning. We're filming on Thursday at about noonish right now. This morning it was 4.5 for Utah?
Yeah, 4.5 favor Utah. Moved up to
6. So we're starting to think, what does Vegas know? Are we thinking, Cam Rising's back?
Yeah,
he's going to be playing.
I think you're going to see the debut of one Cameron Rising this week.
Rising.
For Utah, that's obviously huge. This is your guy. Utah was a team that they've grown year by year, slowly got their way to the Pac-12 championship game, fell short a couple times. Cameron Rising comes in and he gets them over the line.
Yeah.
Wins back-to-back championships. This is the guy. This is the guy that if you're an opposing team, you don't want to see him run out there on the field.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got this aura to him. He knows that he's willing to take a hit. He's willing to lower your shoulder and run someone over if he has to. That's just kind of QB he is. And, this will be something that UCLA is hoping that, when that ball's kicked off and Utah runs out on the field, they're going to hope number 7's not there.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And, it's like Utah is kind of missing that, that key component is the offense hasn't been that anything too impressive. At the backups, we're talking about Bryson Barnes. We're talking about your man,
Nate Johnson.
Younger guys. Obviously, Bryson's been there a little longer than Nate. But, even against Florida, it was like we saw a little bit of offense in the first half, but second half was slow for Utah. I think the defense bailed them out of that week 2 against Baylor. Mm-hmm. And then even Weber State, they seemed to struggle. So I'm thinking, Cam Rising needs to come back. And it's going to be tough. Dude hasn't played football, and we're talking about, what was it, 10 months?
Yeah, it's January. So,
yeah, we're talking about, early 9 months, early January. So we're talking about like 9 months. He hasn't played football, so it's going to be interesting to see if he will, will be able to adapt and come back and play with the same firepower that he was able to do to win this team back-to-back Pac-12 championships.
Yeah. So, and UCLA got the win last year in Pasadena. And a large part with that was because of DTR and their ability to run kind of like those option plays, getting the quarterback out in space, letting him do his thing. Now you got freshman Dante Moore coming in for the start.
Yeah, second in his class for quarterbacks.
Yeah, 5-star kid comes into an environment in Salt Lake City that a lot of QBs in general don't play well in. So this is going to be a huge test for him and Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to scheme something where he's comfortable playing against, and I'm okay saying this now, this is the best defense in the Pac-12. And it's not close either.
Utah
has the best defense in the Pac-12. That defense is suffocating. They got linebackers running across the field. They got safeties, putting their head down and laying it into people. So this would be a really tough test for Dante. Mm-hmm. And he's going to have to really lean on some of his veteran players in this team to really help him out, because it's going to be an environment that he's never played in.
Never played in before. So jumping into conference play, playing Utah and Rice Eccles, Salt Lake City, it's going to be definitely a tough one for him.
Yeah, and this is a real big test for UCLA too, because, coming into the season, everyone thought they were going to take a big step back. Mm-hmm. Losing DTR, losing Charbonnet, Jake Bobo goes to the NFL as well. It was kind of like a reload, maybe a rebuild type of year for them. And instead of rebuilding, it looks like they've reloaded. Yeah. They got a lot of talent, a lot of players that have come in, and this is their first true test. They took care of their non-con pretty easy, put up a lot of points, look really flashy, but this is where the business starts.
Yeah. It's like you could easily say, oh, well, UCLA beat Utah last year, but I think about every component and why UCLA won that game, and they just haven't returned to this team this year. And the fact that it's back in Rice Eccles, I just see Utah getting this win, because it's like DTR, Charbonnet, what was it, Bobo?
Yeah, Jake Bobo.
They tore apart this Utah defense. I think Dante Moore, he's a little young. It's a little too early for him. Tough environment. I got Utah winning this game. I think they're going to cover as well. I think they win by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, and this is a tough game for me, because you look at all those pieces that UCLA had last year to get them the win. I didn't necessarily think UCLA was the better team on the day. They made more plays and ended up getting the job done, so fair play to them. But this is gonna be a really, really tough game for them, and where I'm really excited to find out if UCLA is one of those probably top tier teams in the pack.
Yeah,
if you think of top tier teams in the pack, you think of Washington, USC, Oregon, probably Utah in there as well. Maybe Oregon State kind of on the outside looking in as well.
Yeah,
and I'd put UCLA right in that category. If they really want to compete for this conference, they got to win a game like this. Mm-hmm. So Chip Kelly's got, he's got a big task on his hand.
Yeah.
And he's got to be able to figure out how to get it done. I'm also going to go with Utah.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in the little kind of like asterisk saying it doesn't matter who's playing QB. If Cam runs out there, I think Utah wins. I think if Nate Johnson runs out there, I think Utah wins.
Really?
I do think it will be a close game though, depending on who plays.
Yeah.
I think Cam is going to be really rusty if he comes out and plays. because people are really underestimating the fact that he really hasn't taken a hit, in about 9-10 months.
Yeah.
So it's like taking that first hit will be important for him to really get his feel in the game. I think there's a chance that if Cam plays, Utah starts really slow and UCLA jumps out to an early lead. But I think it's going to be one of those games where, Utah's going to have the ball down the stretch. They're going to get that touchdown to go up, and then they're really going to be able to see out the rest of this game. Man. But I think Dante Moore, I think this is a game where you're really going to see a lot of turnovers from him.
Really?
I think there's a chance he turns the ball over a couple times.
Yeah.
Because like I said, this is a defense that they're one of the best in the nation. They really are. This team is suffocating on D, and, Dante is going to get blitzed a ton. Yeah. Utah loves to run, 5, 6, even 7 at times, rushers at the QB. So he's going to have to be really smart with the ball if UCLA wants a chance to win the game. But I think Utah's defense and Cam do enough to get it done.
Yeah, and being at home. I mean, this team rarely loses.
What's that streak? 15, 16 wins at home? Straight
something
wins?
Like that.
Something like that. Something crazy like that.
Yeah, they kill it. We saw last year with USC, and, I think they get it done again this weekend. UCLA. Last game that we're going to talk about, it's going to be game day. Top 10 matchup. Everyone's looking forward to it. It's going to be number 6, Ohio State, going at number 9, Notre Dame. The line is 3 for Ohio State.
3 for Ohio State.
3 for Ohio State. Oh, man, buckle down. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. I'm excited to, see this matchup. Sam Hartman's been balling all year. He's up there as a potential Heisman candidate. But yeah, what a great game to see, the potential of both these teams.
Yeah, and this is a team or two teams that I feel like are trending in opposite directions. Maybe one not for necessarily a bad reason, but they're not as dynamic as they have been, and that is Ohio State.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure out the QB situation. Kyle McCord has looked better in weeks.
Yeah.
I think part of that is because he's thrown to number 18.
Yeah.
He's getting Marvin Harrison the ball, which is what he should have been doing from the start. So, this was a pretty bland game last year, if I remember correctly. It was only like a 21-10 game, and Ohio State controlled it for the most part. But the big difference between last year and this year is Notre Dame's got a QB.
Yeah. No more Tyler Buckner.
Sam Hartman is legit. He is for real. He's probably a Heisman candidate if he can really, put together a couple good games.
Yeah.
But I think that's the big difference in this game is Notre Dame has a QB, and last year they just really did not.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Sam Hartman, this would be a huge add to the resume for the, a Heisman candidate. Would be a win against a top 6 Ohio State. So, a lot to look forward to this weekend in this matchup because, both pretty good offenses. Mm-hmm. I would say Ohio State is kind of, like you mentioned, trending downwards, because they're used to CJ Stroud back there just throwing darts.
Well, when you have CJ Stroud, you have, Chris Olave, you have Jackson Smith and Jigba,
Garrett Wilson.
You have all these guys. And, now it's like all those guys got in the NFL. Marvin Harrison's probably, you could argue, is potentially the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
I know that Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson said that Smith and Jigba was the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
It's even crazier to say that maybe Marvin Harrison's better than all 3 of them.
That wide receiver class was that 2021.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Man. That is crazy.
But I don't know. It's gonna be a hostile environment for Ohio State. The QB situation still worries me a lot.
Yeah.
Kyle McCord he's gonna be playing against a team that's gonna be ready. Notre Dame's known for defense. They're known for being pretty solid on defense. And, they have a great 1-2 punch with Sam Hartman and Audric Estime at running back.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I look at that -3 line. I don't really know if I would play with it. I wouldn't really go against the spread. I'd kind of leave it where it is. It's borderline a pick 'em.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's gonna be a great game. I think this has potential to be, one of those games that's, it's final drive. Someone's down by, maybe 3, maybe 6 or something like that. And final touchdown gets the win.
I'm going to pick Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's going to go out there and win this game. Ohio State's a team that really relies on an explosive offense.
Mm.
And, when they're not producing, we saw what happened last year. They dropped the game to Michigan. And I think that it's going to kind of be a similar aspect to the point where it's like this team isn't going to produce as much offense as they normally do in previous years. And I think that Notre Dame and Sam Hartman's experience and his veteranship, is that a word?
Veteran. I can get behind it.
Veteranship.
I don't know if it is, but I can get behind it.
Okay, a veteran in Sam Hartman. I think that Notre Dame's going to pull off what seems to be an upset right now, but I think that Notre Dame is going to be trending up. I think that they should jump in the top 6 after this win.
Yeah, and I think another pretty underrated aspect about this game is Notre Dame has played that extra game. They played in week 0, so this is technically week 5 for Notre Dame.
Yeah,
so they already got 4 games under them, and let's be honest here. Sam Hartman has been waiting for this moment his whole career. Goes to Wake Forest. No disrespect to the Demon Deacons fans, but Wake Forest is not one of the big dogs in college football. So to have prime time NBC game against Ohio State, Sam Hartman's gonna be ready to play ball.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be fired up, throwing up his rib necklace. He's ready to go.
Oh yeah, man, that strikes fear in almost any D.
Yeah. I mean, goofy man, but I think he's going to go out there and get the win. What do you think? Who you got?
Yeah, I also am going to go in Notre Dame.
Dang. You got all the same picks.
We're trying to
create some variety,
but I don't know. I think Ryan Day has a real problem on his hand. I think Kyle McCord will be a good college quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is there yet. I feel like Marvin Harrison feels like he has to carry a lot of the load. Like Trayvon Henderson's great and Emeka Buka are both, fantastic players in their own right. But I think right now they're looking for that identity like they had under CJ.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Notre Dame wins. I think it's a tight one. Like I said, I wouldn't mess with that line.
Yeah.
I think it's very possible that this is like a game where, it's a 1-point game potentially.
Comes down to a field goal. Yeah.
Field goal, maybe like a team goes for 2 at the end to get the win. I think it's gonna be really, really tight. But I do see Notre Dame sneaking it out at home.
Yeah.
The job done.
Yeah, I agree. So for the top 4 games of the week, at least our top 4 games of the week, there's 2 other ranked matchups. I say we just do quick predictions for the rest of the games.
Yeah, I think we'll do the top 2 ranked games, and then we'll do the Florida State game too.
Yeah.
So I want to do that one as well.
So we got Washington State versus, who are they playing?
Oregon State.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is that game in Corvallis?
I believe so. I believe it is in Corvallis.
Yeah. I'm going to go Oregon State on that one. Oregon State, they're trending up. Hard to beat in Corvallis. I'm going to go Oregon State for that one.
Yeah, I got the brand new stadium up in Riser. So,
yeah.
No, actually, it looks like maybe that game is in, it's at Wazoo.
Oh.
Okay. So, So that changes everything.
Yeah. I still got Oregon State.
Got to go to Pullman.
Team. Yeah, go up to Pullman, play Cam Ward on the road.
I'm gonna go Wazoo.
Really?
I think Oregon State's a team. Like I said, I think if it was at Riser, I would agree with you. I would go Oregon State. Washington State coming off a big win against Wisconsin at Pullman, so they know how to win at home. It's a weird place to go. I see the reporters always talk about Pullman. It's like you fly into the airport and then you have to drive like an extra 45 minutes to get to campus.
Yeah, that's weird.
So it's like a weird place to play. I think that, these are 2 teams that are going to want to prove themselves. So you're going to get the best from both these guys. But
absolutely.
I think Cam Ward makes 1 or 2 more plays and gets the job done for Wazoo.
Yeah, I think Oregon State wins it and creates an intriguing matchup next Friday with 4-0 Oregon State at home against 4-0, probably top 10 Utah at the time. So look out for that game. The other ranked one is going to be, it's Iowa.
Iowa at Penn State.
At Penn State. Yeah. I'm going to go Penn State. 15-point favorites. I don't think Iowa produces enough points and enough offense. Cade McNamara.
They might not put up 15 points.
Yeah, they might not score. Yeah. So I'm expecting low scoring game. I think Penn State wins by a couple scores.
Yeah, and for Iowa, that's how they want to play this game. They want it to be low scoring. They want their defense to make plays. They want Cade McNamara to have the ball in his hands and get the job done at the end. But I think this could be a real coming out party for Penn State. I've talked about them pretty highly throughout most of the offseason. I like both their running backs. I wanted to see what Drew Allaire looked like. Their 5-star QB. But I think I'm also going to go Penn State at home. I don't think they cover that line. I think it's going to be a defensive battle.
Really?
I think Iowa's going to do a lot of good things on defense, and Penn State's going to struggle to score, but I think they do just enough to get the job done. Probably win it by like 10 if I had to guess. Maybe like 24-14.
24-14, maybe like 21-7, 21-10, something like that.
Yeah, low scoring battle.
Cool. And then the last one's going to be a sleeper matchup, I think. We talk about the ranked matchups all week, but I think number 4, Florida State, might have trouble going at Clemson, a phenomenal home team. Obviously, Clemson lost to Duke. Was that week 1?
Mm-hmm.
Week 1 is just like, oh my gosh, what is this team doing? They struggled the following week. But do they have enough to be able to, go home and upset this Florida State team who struggled against Boston College last week? So there's a lot of question marks there. But Florida State 2-point favorites on the road.
Yeah, and I think people are taking too much into that Boston College game. You're talking about a team that, they've been really, really good, for the first couple of weeks. Boston College presented a challenge for them. Looking at it on paper, it doesn't look great, but Florida State's not going to play like that again, especially in an environment like Clemson. Tough place to play. I know Florida State has a losing streak at Clemson, which like a lot of teams do.
It's just a different team. Clemson's a different team this year. Florida State's clearly the better team. I think this game is going to be similar to what we saw against LSU week 1 in that neutral site game. And I think it'll be close towards the beginning. I think eventually Florida State will run away with it and get the dub. Yeah,
I just worry about offense with Clemson. We saw them against Duke. They really struggled to move the ball. And the times that they did move the ball, they got in the red zone and turned the ball over.
Yeah.
Which, you just can't be doing. So
got to eliminate those mistakes.
Yeah.
Keep this game close.
But
who you pulling?
Yeah, I got Florida State too.
Florida State.
I got Jordan Travis. He's my Heisman winner. I think he's gonna put off, like we talked about earlier this season, his real, Heisman moment. It's gonna be this week at Clemson.
This week,
and he's gonna get the job done. Go to 4-0.
Place is gonna be packed. Gonna be a lot of energy. Very exciting weekend. I mean, we just talked about 7 games. I wish they were spaced out more so we could tune into them, on their own time. But it's like we're gonna be, all over the place, especially during 1:30 and that 5:30 time frame. But I think that's going to wrap things up, right?
Yeah.
We good?
So
we good? Yeah. Buckle down, buckle up, college football fans, because it's going to be a phenomenal weekend of games. And you got our predictions, and we want to see your guys' predictions as well. We're going to be throwing up graphics for each game, so
drop them down below.
Yeah, drop them down below as well, and comment on this video, and make sure you follow the socials at the Play Action Pod. Will be back next week to recap these games as well. So we'll see you guys next week.